Hello. Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 11th, Veterans Day. Shout out to all the vets out there, my husband being one of them, and some of our regulars in the Rumble room, Ted, some vets in there like Nerd. We know Nerd is a veteran. Thank you for your service. So I am Manila Chan. That over there is Ted Rawl. This is the Ted Manila Information Show, otherwise known as the TMI Show for short, because we really do give you a little too much information, sometimes personal information, but not in the way of like doxing. We're very anti that. Oh,
Yes.
although there's a story about of doxing, Ted, that I would like to get to maybe this week. Maybe it's a fun Friday topic, but it's about the Millers, Steven and his wife Katie. Apparently they live nearby me.
Huh.
They got doxxed. But yeah, we'll talk about that maybe on Friday. Anyway, Ted and I do this live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please be sure to hit the like, the follow, the subscribe, and the share button to help our little show continue to grow. All you deprogrammers who got switched over, we hope you stick around and support this show as well. We're all the same group of friends that were all, put out of a job about a year ago thanks to Joe Biden. So here we are. Anyway, with that, Ted, let's head over straight to the news. How about it?
Let's do that. Okay. Donald Trump says that U.S. visas will now be denied to fat people. New guidance coming out of the State Department encourages embassies and consulates around the world to deny U.S. visas to people who are obese or suffer from other health issues. Trump is rejecting all visas for fatties. Trump ordered visa officers to deny immigrants who are obese in yet another instance of the president's strange obsession with people who are overweight. This directive came out Thursday from the State Department, sent to embassies and consulates around the world, indicates that people who apply for visas to the U.S. may be rejected if they have certain medical conditions on the grounds that they could take up domestic health care resources. I don't know why that would matter, since no one is going to have any kind of public health insurance whatsoever, thanks to the Democrats caving in on the ACA, but whatever. You must consider an applicant's health, the cable read, certain medical conditions, including but not limited to cardiovascular diseases, respiratory diseases. I guess I'd be out since I have asthma, cancers, diabetes, metabolic diseases, neurological diseases, and mental health conditions, sorry, President Biden, can require hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of care. The announcement then goes on to mention obesity, saying that it can be connected to sleep apnea, to asthma, sleep apnea, and high blood pressure. All of these can require expensive long-term care. The cable goes on. Does the applicant have adequate financial resources to cover the costs of such care over his entire expected lifespan without seeking public cash assistance or long-term institutionalization at government expense? Denying fat people from the U.S. because they might end up having health issues is incredibly broad, cruel, and unusual, not least because we have all the fat people already, so people would feel so comfortable hanging out with their fat brethren. Just go to Ohio or Michigan if you don't believe me. Visa applicants are already subjected to health screenings for infectious diseases like TB and are required to have various vaccinations. This announcement comes just a day after Trump announced his fat shot deal with two pharmaceutical companies to lower the cost of Ozempic and Zepbound to $150 a month from $350, which it costs now. Trump also took time out to reveal exactly who's taking the weight loss drug. Taking a look at Steven Cheung. Where's Steve? Is he here? Head of PR for the White House? He's taking it. I mean, not that there's any shame in that.
No, but I mean, that's, that it should be up to Mr. Cheung if he wants.
I would agree with that.
He. I mean, if you've seen him, he's a very a portly Asian man, right? And he's the head of comms. Very, very large dude.
He is not a small man. It's true.
But But Ted, I feel like there's a part in the quote that you read that struck me, is that it's not that it's a no fatties allowed policy. It's not that. It's no poor fatties allowed policy.
Oh,
You may have, I mean, you read right through it and it may not have registered. But where's the line?
it didn't register.
It says all of these can require expensive long-term care. Does the applicant have adequate financial resources to cover the cost of such care? That's the trick. So you can be fat as long as you're rich. That's the caveat. So he doesn't care about your BMI. Like, he doesn't care if you drop dead on American soil. He doesn't care if you're in ICU or whatever. He doesn't care as long as you can pay for it. So that opens a new can of worms. It's like, I mean, I've never, obviously, I don't know what it's like to apply for an American visa. So I'm a US citizen, so I don't know. But I mean, do they check your like bank accounts, or like, what do they, I've never thought to ask, so I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know either? And I know lots of immigrants, and I've never thought to ask, like, what all do they ask you when you apply for a US visa? Like, besides the regular, right? Like, how long are you going to be here? What are you here for? You know, like, what are you coming for? Like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland, right? How long are you going to be here? 2 weeks. I want to tour SoCal. I want to go to Universal Studios. I want to go to Disneyland. Oh, visa approved, whatever, right? Where are your accommodations? I'm staying at the Hollywood Hilton or whatever, right? Okay, approved. But what else do they ask? Like, do they ask if you rich? Like, what socioeconomic status? Like, your politics? What do they ask? I wonder
No clue.
if anybody. I mean, and the health thing, like, I mean,
Well, the healthcare thing, I mean, the health thing, I
I can
have
see how it
heard
makes sense.
other countries like require sometimes, you to have certain vaccinations to go. The first time I went to Central Asia, several of the Central Asian republics required me to have very painful hepatitis B shots to my hip, which felt like basically there was a huge gauge needle. And it felt, how like when the shot is over, but like a month later, it still feels like the needle is still in your ass or
phantom
whatever.
pain.
Yeah. It was rough. Yeah.
Well, so I know when I've obviously, you and I have traveled to a lot of different countries, both for personal reasons and for work, right? Like, I know I don't recall them asking me about my financial situation. I think I recall maybe some countries have asked, like, if I had a communicable disease like HIV or something like that, or AIDS.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
The US used to ask that, and they probably still do.
yeah,
But the point is that, like, so,
know.
okay, listen, let's literally let's get the hippopotamus out of the room here. Donald Trump is fat. Okay. I mean, he's a fat fucking dude. I mean, he probably weighs, the most credible report, he claimed to be 215, 6'3".
No,
okay.
no,
Now, okay, so listen.
no.
I'm 215, 6'3". Observe.
Trump is not whoa, Ted, 215. Trump says
215.
215.
I'm 6'3", 215. Do I look like Donald Trump?
Well, Trump is about your height.
Donald Trump's body? No.
Trump is about your height. He's about 6'3". I think maybe at his prime he might have been like 6'4". I mean, he's very tall. So Trump today might be around your height, but he's certainly not 215. And I've seen him in person. Like, he's not 215. My husband is 6 feet tall and like 230 and isn't shaped like Donald Trump.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not shaped like Donald Trump. Could I stand to lose some weight? 100%. But, Donald Trump is the most credible report. It came out a while ago, was that he was 6'1", which I believe, having been in the same room
Maybe
as him.
now.
And he's
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
he's
Maybe
80,
now.
right? So he's
He's
you know,
old.
people shrink a little bit.
Yes.
So he's probably 262.
Yeah,
And
I would put him over 250 for sure.
well,
But anyway,
someone had it leaked out. I forget the source, but 262 was the number, and I was like, that number right there. I believe that number. So,
Ted, if ever, I don't know if this is possible, but
no way
you're getting
no way he's only 250.
You're getting catcalled on the interwebs right now for flashing. Flashing. And also the audience is asking about Clovis.
What about Clovis?
Where is Clovis? People are saying
who
they haven't
fucking
seen
knows?
Clovis.
He's
Ted,
not around. He's not
they
around.
haven't seen Clovis in a long time,
We
so the
will-
viewers are like, "Where's Clovis? We miss Clovis."
I promise I'll fetch him, and I'll present proof of cat life tomorrow.
Vicky says he's fat. He weighs between 300 and 400 pounds.
Nah,
I don't think
that's
400.
not true.
Not three.
Maybe
close.
That's really big. I mean, that's like Baleen. You know, that's sort of like Wisconsin. That's like Chris Christie at peak.
Oh yeah,
may have tipped the scales at 320. Maybe. I doubt it. I think he was probably
or like what's his face? Governor of Illinois.
Oh, Pritzker. Yeah, Pritzker could be 3. Yeah.
3 plus.
People forget because Americans have a struggle with weight that like 350 is fucking huge. Okay. I mean, not many Americans, most people don't know anyone who weighs over 300 pounds. They're around. You see them.
Yeah.
If you're at the Walmart in Lansing, everybody there. So I don't, but okay, but here's the thing, right? So it's sort of like you saying like, man, I don't want fucking Laotian President Chan saying like, I don't want those fucking Chinese Laotians coming into the United States. Fuck them. They're gross and they're ruining everything. And everyone's like, but you're one of them. I mean, it's like, or it's like us saying like, no one with glasses. People with glasses are evil. It's like, but you, and so Donald Trump is overweight. I mean, he's fat. And it's like, why? It's so bizarre. I mean, this is like, we need a psychologist on here to come and explain this to us. But I mean, how does that make any sense? Okay.
Again, I think maybe Donald Trump lives in his mind in the heyday of the 1980s, in his heyday when he was like Bachelor of the Year on Time Magazine or whatever year that was, like 1988 or whatever it was. I think in his mind, he is still that guy. And you know, Ted, there's reason to believe a lot of men still live in their heyday. I call it the Al Bundy syndrome, where Al Bundy's always like posing with his Heisman pose, right? Like the
yeah. Because it's like he caught the big pass at the ball game. Yeah. So like that's in Al Bundy's mind. Of course, I'm talking about Married with Children. You know, like an iconic American sitcom. For those who are overseas and aren't familiar. Absolutely. Like amazing. Live action cartoon, basically.
Hilarious show back when we still had like 4 channels.
Kind of like structurally very similar to Arrested Development, if you think about it.
Yes. And you know, the thing is that show was very groundbreaking and we could have a whole sitcom episode, Ted.
Oh, I mean, God, I would be all about it.
I'm a sitcom fanatic. Like I love sitcoms.
And they're so important to like, there's such an important reflection of American culture.
Oh my God. We could talk about Sanford and Son. We can talk like, I love, that's right. American sitcoms are the shit and nobody can beat us with the sitcom. I mean, maybe the British Office is a close, but yeah, it's a taste thing. But generally speaking, the one thing America does absolutely right is sitcoms. Not all of them that come out on TV, but some of them we got right. All in the Family.
Oh God.
I mean, we got it right. Like,
no question.
I Love Lucy. We are right with sitcoms. But anyway, with Married with Children, that was the running theme. And again, this is going back to when we had like 4 terrestrial TV stations still, and you still had the clicker, the remote still actually clicked, and it was a clicker.
Yeah. It was a better world.
It was, where you can make fun about, make fun of sexism. You can make fun of middle-aged balding men living in their mind in their heyday, when there's some football star in high school or college or whatever. And those tropes were okay and everybody laughed, right? This is where Donald Trump lives, in that era of his mind. So in his mind, he's like 6'3" and svelte. So he's like, I don't want any fatties coming here. No fatties. Unless they have money to buy Ozempic.
I mean, do you think he's just incapable of, I mean, I guess you're right. He just doesn't, he looks in the mirror and he doesn't think there be a gross dude.
No.
But there be a gross dude.
Three's Company. There be a gross dude looking back. Like he's got the old man, like crinkly, like bumpy nose bumps. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's usually like rosacea. I think people with rosacea or people that have.
Well, because he's also fair. He's got that Germanic blood.
Yeah, but he tan.
And isn't his mother Scottish? So
yeah, he's super pale. Naturally a pale.
He's from the land of the pale.
Yeah, he really is.
They call him Pale Rider.
He really is. And he has that ginger blonde hair. Like he's pale. He's a pale person. And I know in the 80s he tanned, and now he does the orange spray tan because it's safer. But as a relic of the 80s, now that you are in your 80s, his nose, right along this band of his nose, it shows a lot of that damage from tanning beds.
Yeah.
And part of what that looks like is that it's like bumpy, irregular, large pore skin, like above your nose and this like top of your front of your cheekbones. There's a particular look because that part of you gets burnt the most because obviously like your cheekbones and your nose are the most raised.
Yep.
So it gets burnt.
Yeah.
Easier.
Sure.
And that shows on Donald Trump. Out. So yeah. So he still thinks he's like hot, even though he's got this yucky,
that's so weird,
bumpy, irregular skin. He's, got a gullet. He's got whatever.
And of course, he's got that fucking hot mess of a hair.
Well, that's a horrible haircut that he's never.
Well, not to mention he has useless, gross hair to begin with.
People are putting him at DT's 280. Yeah,
I would know. I would
above 250.
I certainly,
sure, above
I certainly can't say, oh, you'd be crazy to put him at 280. It's like if he was at a Carney guess your weight person,
Yeah,
like, yeah. I'm going to say somewhere between. Can we say this? Between 260 and 290, I think is spot on.
I don't think he quite. Yeah, because some people can carry their weight well,
and he is tall. Yeah.
Yeah, he's tall, and some people are more like densely compacted, they carry their weight differently. So it's possible. But the whole point is, I think here's another thing, Ted, about, the whole mention of do they have the resources to care for themselves if they are large, is that I think oftentimes, at least here in the US, I don't know if it's true everywhere else, but in the US, the heavier you are as a person and like out of shape, right? I'm not saying it's causation or there is anything causal here, but there's a correlation between obesity and education level and thus job and socioeconomic level. So at least that's true in the US, right? Like the more educated you are, the more healthy and fit you tend to be. It's the opposite of how it was
in ancient times when the heavier you were, the more prosperous you were.
Or in North Korea today.
It's because of the gross food
Kim Jong-un.
we eat. Yeah, you're basically you eat toxic food if you are,
So I think what he's looking for are the more elite class to grant visas to, without actually saying those precise words. I think that's the trick. And you wordsmith it. He's not a wordsmith, but Steven Cheung is.
No, he's not a wordsmith.
But Steven Cheung is. And then Trump calls him out like, hey, Fatty doing my comms. Come over here, communications guy. Where are you, Steven? Where is that fatty?
There's no shame in taking a weight loss drug or in being overweight. But I mean, the point is that
It's not his story to tell.
but I mean, it is. Donald Trump is gross. I mean, the face that he puts to the world, like, oh, we're not going to let you in if you're like chubby or whatever. It's
You
like,
look a certain way.
It's like, fuck you. I mean, like, really,
Dude.
I mean,
I get it though, Ted. I will defend him a little bit.
Are going to drop like off a fucking.
No,
cliff.
they're already dropping. I'm going to say this much though. I can see how it's defensible in that.
Oh.
Well, the difference is, look, the difference. I don't know how it's done here. I've had the good fortune to not have to be in the hospital or whatever while uninsured. Not that I've never been uninsured. Mark, listen to my words carefully. The times I've had to be in the hospital or see a doctor or whatever,
you happen to have been insured.
I happen to have insurance. So thankfully, it's just knock on wood. It's been good timing. However, I have been violently ill and hospitalized in Italy, in Rome, and I've talked about this for like 3 days. And I left without owing the Italians a fucking penny, right? Like, thank you, socialized medicine. God bless Italy. I don't know that that's the case here in the United States. If you're here on a tourist visa, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think they're not going to send some Canadian back home to the Great White North, right? If they, I don't know, let's say they happen to be a heavy person and tripped and fell and broke their ankle.
Canadians are not the smallest people.
They're large. I mean, they're North American, so they're some husky people.
Yeah. Plus, they don't go outside that much, and
it's cold. They got a lot of husky people. But if they come here to the U.S. and hurt themselves, do we pay for? I mean, obviously, we can't deny them care for an emergency situation. That's the law, right? If you show up to the ER.
Yeah, that's right.
But when it's all said and done, do they get a bill, and do we chase them up to Canada and ask them?
I don't think anything happens. Yeah, nothing happens. I mean, that's the thing. Americans are crazy about so the health insurance thing is a disaster. But like, for example, the healthcare people who go bankrupt from healthcare, like, you really don't have to. Like, you just don't pay. Just don't pay. Like, what's going to happen? I mean, for them, there's actually laws in most states that say that that you can't, your credit rating can't be dinged for healthcare bills.
Really? So, is there a new law?
Yeah, just blow it off.
Huh. Well, okay. I'm going to pause there before we go to the next topic, and go to a word from our first sponsor of the day. That's up right there. All right. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, all yours for just $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up right here on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth a shot. Spoiler, it is. Producer Robbie has told us so. He's a fan. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're all gone, baby, gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. All right. Excellent. So that's that. Trump saying no fatties and everybody should be on Ozempic and Zepbound and Wegovy and all that shit for the rest of their lives, Ted, because we've talked about this on the show. Once you're off it, you just, it comes right. Everything comes back. You have to be on it forever. And then it comes with muscle atrophy and bone density loss. Yay, osteoporosis for everybody.
Yeah, that's good times.
Good times. Fun. All right. Next one's a Teddy. Another. Oh no, this one's me. Sorry, you did that first one. Okay, this one's me. Sorry, my bad. Okay. All right. So this one affects, biological women like me. And biological women like Ted.
Mm-hmm.
So the Olympics is increasingly likely to ban transgender athletes from all female competition following a science-based review of evidence, Ted. They looked at the science. Kirsty Coventry, the new president of the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, told media back in January that she favored a blanket ban and, after winning the presidency officially in March, commissioned a review that assessed the permanent physical advantages of being born male. An update was provided last week to the IOC members by Dr. Jane Thornton, who is the committee's medical and scientific director. Although no final decision has yet been made, the update to IOC members reportedly stated that scientific evidence showed there were physical advantages to being born male that remained even after reducing testosterone levels. The IOC's current policy is that individual sports should decide their own rules, leaving a mixture of approaches. Athletics and swimming ban transgender athletes, while sports such as football permit transgender competitors as long as they have taken measures to reduce their testosterone levels. Laurel Hubbard, a weightlifter from New Zealand, you guys might remember her, became the first openly transgender woman to compete at the Olympics back in 2021, but failed to record a successful lift in the women's plus 87 kg category. The stricter IOC policy could also include athletes with differences of sex development, also known as DSD. The most high-profile example is Caster Semenya, who won the 800-meter gold at the London 2012 and Rio 2016 Olympics. Then, more recently, the two boxers, Imani Khalif from Algeria, you might recall, and Lin Yu Ting, I think, is from Taiwan, won controversial gold medals at the last Olympics in Paris, despite allegedly failing to meet their gender eligibility criteria at the Boxing World Championships just the year before. So, according to a group called World Athletics Data, there have been 135 DSD finalists in elite female athletic competitions in this century. In a presentation at the World Athletic Championships in Tokyo just this year, Dr. Steven Berman, the head of health and science, estimated that 151.9 times more DSD athletes had made finals than the DSD incidence in the general population. So DSD, I had to look this up too because I'd never heard of that acronym. It's disorders of sex development. DSD stands for disorders of sex development, which refers to a group of conditions where a person's reproductive organs and genitals do not develop typically, resulting in characteristics that may not fit standard definitions of male or female. These conditions can arise from variations in chromosomes, hormones, or anatomy. So I don't know what to make of the DSD people but I don't know, then they're overrepresented basically 152 times more than in the general population. But Ted, I will say the people that are openly trans, such as that weightlifter from New Zealand, who's clearly a dude, a giant ass heavyweight lifter dude, okay? All he did was grow his hair out, put on earrings, and it might have been clip-on at that, put on earrings and throw on some lipstick on that pig and said, I'm trans, I'm now gonna compete I can make the Olympics team for New Zealand. I'm gonna compete against the women because she couldn't make the men's team that round, that Summer Olympics, and then went on to medal. And then, we saw this again with Amani Khalif just last year, and the Taiwanese boxer as well. The Russians who were the president, because I think it's like a rotating thing at the boxing world championship, whatever it's called, this boxing group. At the time, the Russians were the state of the president, right? And of course, nothing that comes from Russia, we can't take anything that comes from Russia, Ted. So the IOC in Paris last year and the year and months leading up to it, because France is, at in the Allies' war against Russia, decided to say, no, your Kremlin propaganda. We recognize Amani Khalif as a female, despite you guys showing us the chromosomal evidence that Amani Khalif, this boxer from Algeria, is a dude. Despite that, and then she went on to bash all of these women's faces in. She went on to bash all these women.
I remember.
Like brutally, in a way that's never been seen in women's boxing. Brutally. And then you have that. Come on. Ted, I don't have a science degree. I didn't even drop out of a science program like you did at Columbia, which is a great makeup school now, I hear.
That's what they say, yes.
You can get your esthetician's license there, I hear. Oh yeah, Trump said that he's gonna give them and Harvard some money if they do plumbing school stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Trade school.
It'd be a great trade school that you graduated from. But I didn't even drop out of a science program. You at least dropped out. I didn't even do a science program, right?
No, I wasn't. But I wasn't I didn't drop out. I was expelled. I want to be clear.
Oh.
Here.
Oh, okay. So you can't go. Oh, you can't reapply to that program. Or
well, I did reapply, and I ultimately graduated with honors.
In the science program?
I have a minor. So no, I have a minor in physics. That's a leftover sort of vestigial. I graduated as a history major. But I graduated from the same school, same standards.
No, the school I know, but not in that particular program. They don't.
But I don't think it's important.
Right?
I don't want to expel shame. I feel like it's important for all of us who were expelled from schools to
the expellees,
loud and proud. I mean,
we're expellees and we're loud.
Not
and
so
proud.
few. The proud, the people who were asked, like Felix Unger, to leave our dormitory of residence. So look, I'm torn. I'm torn about this, Manila, and not just for the
Ted,
usual reasons
my point is, none of us need to have a degree, Ted. That the new IOC president said she commissioned a review. Well, turns up.
It's important to have some scientific basis when you're talking about this.
But we know that you have permanent physical advantages if you're born a dude. Because Ted, you've been a dude for 62 years. You're a dude. You've been a dude for 62 years. Caitlyn Jenner today will still whoop my ass in any sport. And I'm 20 plus years younger than Caitlyn Jenner.
I'm agreeing with you, Manila. Look, the number that you cited in the article, like 151 times more DSD athletes made the finals than the general population. That's insane, right? Even if you allow for some exaggeration for some way, that's still insane. So there's no question that there's a wild disparity of advantage and disadvantage here. No question. Manila, my problem here is that this is because this all came to pass because the Olympic Games are going to be held in the United States in 2028, and Donald Trump,
in my motherland,
is transphobic, and Donald Trump issued a statement saying that trans people wouldn't be issued visas to attend the games. So basically, like in the same way that like Harvard and Columbia and all these schools and Trump's bullying everyone. I don't like the fact that this happened due to bullying, as opposed to, like objectively, we decided to take a look and we decided to come to this conclusion. It bugs me. Now, that said, just because something happens due to bullying doesn't mean that it's mistaken. No, it doesn't. But so I'm like, this is not a Ted Rall. This is how it should be. It's a Ted Rall, like, okay, this is, like, okay, on the one hand, this, on the one hand, that.
Right.
And I definitely feel for the trans women athletes who are going to be prohibited from competing. And I don't really know what the answer is here. I mean, I guess, even if you like, think about the fact that we have separate athletic performances for men and women in general, right? We both understand the logic of that. But Manila, where does it stop? You could say, for example, like in wrestling, there's different weight classes because it's understood that like, 125-pound man is not maybe on average as strong as a 185-pound man, and that kind of thing. But we don't do that in other categories. There's no, for example, I'm sure there's advantages of height in throwing the discus, but you don't have separate height categories.
Weight class is different because there's female weight class and male's weight class. You're comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges. You can't compare. We're almost two different species, Ted. If you and I pee in in two separate cups, they'll be able to tell which cup belongs to Manila and which cup belongs to Ted.
Well, that would be true if we were the same sex because of DNA.
No, I'm like pee. They'll say, okay, it's 2 cups of women's pee. Like, okay, my point is with the sports, it's not the same thing, Ted. It is not like.
Exactly, I dare you to compete.
It is not the same thing.
No, I don't think
dare
you
to compete
me. Like,
with me with child pregnancy, with being pregnant. Like,
okay.
You just can't do it.
In fencing, there are certain advantages to having long arms. Could we agree to that?
Sure.
Okay, but there's not different categories for based on arm length in fencing.
No, and look, in basketball, okay, NBA basketball,
height confers certain advantages, right?
In NBA basketball, Muggsy Bogues was scarcely taller than me and was a top performer in the NBA in the 90s, right? He's well known to be a little dude.
But that's unusual.
That's unusual, but he's still a dude. He's an unusual
But that's unusual.
Dude. And he made the team fair and square for dudes. Muggsy Bogues today, who's probably 60 years old, cannot go play in the WNBA. They would ban him. They would ban him. There's a biological difference.
Yes, but my point,
in not only
I guess
performance.
I agree with that. We're not arguing about that. There's no doubt about that. The question here is like, where do we start? Where do we start? Should we separate athletes even more to make sure that, say, like, for example, should there be a short basketball league? Should there be, like, if for the Peter Dinklages of the world who want to play basketball?
There probably is.
Dwarf basketball. Dwarf ball.
There probably is. There's wheelchair basketball.
Well, okay, so yeah.
Able-bodied Ted can't go play in that.
No, not allowed. I'd have an unfair advantage.
Okay, then.
Not really, considering how bad I am at basketball. I'd probably have the disadvantage. But
yeah, I don't know about that. So my point, like, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on the DSD part because, and I'm going to use this, even though I don't know if it's debunked or not. I don't know, but I've never looked between Jamie Lee Curtis's legs, but the old, you know what I'm talking about, right, Ted?
That's why I'm saying, oh my God. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm laughing my ass off.
It's a old wives' tale that's been around for 40 years that supposedly Jamie Lee Curtis has both parts.
In recent interviews, she's kind of alluded to it, that she's
really
not the same as everybody else. That like, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
like the
everybody. There
King
are people
song,
that said,
I'm not like everybody else. Kind of like that.
well, there's there have been rumors in Hollywood for 30 plus years that she's got a little teeny weeny but a vagina also. But it can also be a very an enlarged or engorged clitoris that
Correct.
is technically the penis.
That's correct.
So, but we don't know her DNA. We don't know. We don't know. So I don't
No,
know. She could be an XXY person. She
could
could
be.
be. I mean, those people, they exist in the world.
Sure.
But then when you look at the overrepresentation of 152 times, 151.9, let's say 152, 152 times greater concentration within just professional athletes competing as women, that's where I'm kind of like, ugh. Do you then have an unfair advantage? So like Jamie Lee Curtis, fine, she, in her heyday, maybe even now, I don't know, I haven't looked, but in her heyday, she had a great set up top. Ted, let's
Still
be honest.
does.
Does she? Wow.
Oh yeah, no, they're prodigious.
Wow. But she's been known for having a really great figure, right? Like
She does have a great figure. Yeah.
great set, great waistline, great booty, great shaped woman. And that's what we call her. I mean, she presents as a woman.
Good looking. I mean, what's funny is she's not pretty at all, but she is
Her
sexy
face is,
as shit.
Yeah, I
sort
can
of
see
like
that.
sort of like Chrissy Hind. Not pretty, but very hot.
She's not an ugly person,
No,
male or female.
Not at all. No.
But she does have, if you think about it,
but
she wears her hair.
She's a
real
little
short.
bit. Yeah, well, that makes her look very butch. It was hard. You'd have to imagine her with longer hair.
And she has very angular features, right? Which is usually
she's a little mannish. Yeah,
she's a little mannish, which is usually indicative of more masculine traits,
more testosterone. Right? Yeah,
more testosterone. So it's, it's always been. Not that I buy it 100%, but it's always
she's
been
not as ruggedly masculine as like me.
Well, no. Is she? She's about your age, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
Look her up.
But she.
All right, but where are we going with all this?
I feel like believable to me that she has both.
Primrose path.
No,
she's older than me. She's 66 years old.
Oh, she looks great then. I don't know. Would I allow her to compete if it proved, if her whole life we've known her as a woman, and we look at her as a woman, and we treat her as a woman, but then we find out that she really does have a teeny weeny, and she really is one of those rare XXY people, and she actually is much stronger than the average XX person like me.
Well, I guess my point though is like, so
that's where I'm not sure.
What I'm trying to get to, Manila, and I think it's not clicking with you for some reason, is that all human being, is it possible really? The fiction of athletics is that kind of everyone in a certain category who competes against each other, it's fair because they all have an equal shot, right? Isn't that kind of the fiction? That, like, for example, all wrestlers in the 150 to 154 weight class who are male are all on par with each other. And whoever's smartest, fastest, works out the most, blah, blah, is coached the best, is going to win, right? That's kind of like the fiction here. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it's a fiction. It's sort of like Michael Phelps, for example, famously has feet that are almost like webbed.
Yes.
And like he has all sorts of physical advantages.
Like weird birth defects.
Right. And so should he be disqualified because other dudes whose toes are like have the normal gaps between them are like not able to kick water as efficiently as he can? I don't know the answer to this, but it's kind of like, it does seem a little bit bullshitty to sort of say that it's all fair, except that some people, like John McEnroe, famous tennis player. John McEnroe, he ate like burgers, and he only worked out an hour or two a day. Very unusual for a professional tennis player. He's a natural.
That's a lot.
No. The average professional tennis player practices 4 to 6 hours a day. So the thing is, McEnroe basically had a body made to play tennis. He could just get to the ball wherever it was. He had long fucking arms, long loping legs. He was made to play tennis. Is that a disadvantage? I mean, it's sort of like for a cartoonist, do I have an unfair advantage in a cartoon contest because I have a very steady hand? And like I can draw a dead line. I can draw a straight dead line naturally.
People.
I can draw a perfect circle.
But you're not like that. But you're not acknowledging if you're saying all people, yeah, if we compete all people, it doesn't matter what's between your legs and what your DNA says. If you're by and large, I think I would be flabbergasted to find a woman that can beat a man in any sort of Olympic or physical sport.
It's basically impossible.
It's basically impossible because the key factor here is testosterone
advantage. It just is.
It's testosterone. You guys are generally, as a population, are generally bigger than us, are generally stronger than us, are generally faster than us because testosterone helps you do that, which is why in the women's sport, when they had the distinction between this is a woman and this is a man, right? And like weightlifting, they test you for doping, right? Whether any kind of doping, it could be any drug. And women have been, biological women have been disqualified for finding elevated levels of test.
They have.
And now the testing has gotten so sophisticated that they can distinguish whether or not this is external, because the test is obviously a chemical compound made in a lab somewhere. They can distinguish that you've had how much you've doped, when you doped. The testing has just gotten so amazing. So why are those biological women excluded from competition when a dude who's 45 years old and up until he was 44 and a half years old decided he was a woman? Why was he able to compete in the women's weightlifting competition at the Olympics? That's not okay. He got the better bone density. He got the better, the bigger muscle development because he went through puberty as a boy and lived as a man for 40 years. Why are female athletes, if you're competing against that, why can't the biological female weightlifters, why can't they dope up with shots of test?
Well, okay. Well, I think we've come to an end with this question.
I like.
We should move on.
Ruling.
We have two more stories.
I think it's good.
Okay,
go for it.
All right. Can a one-time, single-time gene therapy lower cholesterol? I love this story. A groundbreaking early-stage clinical trial shows that a single infusion of a gene editing therapy might dramatically reduce bad cholesterol and triglyceride levels, offering the potential for a one-and-done treatment in the fight against cardiovascular disease. The study, led by researchers at the Cleveland Clinic in collaboration with CRISPR Therapeutics, enrolled 15 adults with persistently high LDL, that's the bad cholesterol or triglycerides, despite taking conventional medications, including statins. The experimental therapy, called CTX310, catchy, uses CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing to disable a specific liver gene known as ANGPTL3, which is linked to natural lifelong low cholesterol in people who have a rare mutation. Participants received varying doses of CTX310 via intravenous infusion. At the highest dose, patients saw an average reduction of about 50% in LDL cholesterol and a 55% drop in triglycerides within 6 months. The effects emerged quickly within 2 weeks and were sustained at least through the 60-day mark of follow-up. Researchers say those results far exceeded expectations for such a small early trial. This is the first time anybody has ever edited a gene related to cholesterol metabolism, and published results in a peer-reviewed journal, said Dr. Steven Nissen. Senior author on the study, he described the outcome as pretty spectacular. Compared with existing therapies, daily pills like statins, periodic injections aimed at genes like PSK9, this one-time treatment could represent a paradigm shift. Patients often stop taking daily medications over time. A durable, single treatment option could dramatically improve long-term cardiovascular prevention. That said, the trial remains early and limited. Researchers emphasize that long-term safety and durability of the effect are unknown. Participants will undergo monitoring for a year with extended surveillance up to 15 years as required for gene editing interventions. Lead investigator Dr. Luke Laffin noted that while the current study focuses on patients resistant to standard treatments, future trials might explore gene editing as preventative therapy, potentially giving adults in their 30s or 40s a way to avoid heart disease completely before it even starts. With cardiovascular disease remaining the #1 killer around the world, the implications are huge. Imagine a future where high-risk patients receive a single infusion instead of years of pills and shots. While this treatment is not yet ready for general use, obviously, it represents a bold step toward rewriting how we manage lipid disorders and heart health. Very cool.
That is a cool development, but at the same time, Ted, they don't have any long-term study on that to like
They
I
do
just feel
not.
like what is the end result 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now? Like uh I get that science is amazing and I appreciate how far, Western medicine has come, and science, like all over the world. But again, I default to the I Love Lucy joke of the Vitamita Vegemin. The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle, or in this case, this little vial. Then they'll just shoot it into you and whatever. They'll edit your gene and put it back into you, and they'll put it in CRISPR. Like they'll take it to Switzerland, shake it up, and bring it back. Whole new set of genes. I'm you know I'm not against people trying to take life-saving measures, like, especially if you're, like a person that has cancer or something and,
But you're going to die
like
anyway. Right.
right, like, try it. But in this case, going back to topic number 1, no fatties allowed, this is kind of the same thing. It's like you can change your LDLs with like a lifestyle tweak and maybe ride a bike, maybe walk around the neighborhood.
Okay. The thing is that, first of all, this is America, so we like the simple solution.
The
And
simple solution is CRISPR technology.
right now, I take your point, but it's very Protestant of you, Manila, to sort of say like,
Yeah.
"Well, get off your ass and go hit the
Yeah, take a
exercise
walk.
bike," right?
Go take a walk.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
Ride a
I mean,
bicycle.
yes, and it's also not really entirely true that works for everybody. You and I both know the stories of people who dropped dead of a heart attack at 52, and
I know,
while they were
younger.
running their average 14-mile a day run. I mean, it's like some people have a genetic predisposition. It's very frustrating, but as you and I both know, there's a bell curve, and there's people with a genetic predisposition to dropping dead of a heart attack, and it doesn't matter how hard they work out. Then there's other people who have a genetic predisposition to not die of a heart attack, like Donald Trump, no matter how gross and fat they are.
I
So,
know, and eating McDonald's every fucking day. Like
right.
that's
So it's just sort of like, I mean, it's really not that simple to say like, well, if you just work out, you're going to be fine.
No, it's not just that. It's the holistic well-being and like the terrible our food supply system, which is poisoning people, then our sedentary lifestyles, which is we're killing ourselves because we're not moving, even though they've preached for decades about the 10,000 steps, 10,000 steps, take 10,000 steps. You have, watches that you can wear that'll tell you how many steps you've been, your phone can do it, maybe although not as good as the watch, but it can tell you all of those things. You have all of these at home metrics you can do every day to make sure that you're on the right path. And even if you don't have the means to access those things, all you have to do is just make sure you're not constantly eating Doritos and fried chicken
Well,
all day, every day.
That's not all you have to do.
It's
As I
mostly
just
all.
discussed, it's not true.
It's mostly, I mean, sure, are there people that are predisposed genetically to dropping dead at 45? Yes, I know people that's happened to. But by and large, no pun intended, that for the vast majority of the general population, eating better and getting a little bit of exercise, you will be okay. It's that our diet in America sucks ass. So instead of just walking around your neighborhood, like instead of that, we turn to CRISPR technology. Like, are you kidding me? You want to gene edit yourself and get one shot? Who knows what that one shot's going to... Sure, your LDLs are down.
There's going to be gene editing for everything. You know,
Ted,
you
sure,
both know that.
I know you can have your designer babies.
It's going to be like, and you're going to be able to have designer yourself. I'm going to be like, you know, I want to look like, you know, Skarsgård. I want to
Alexander Skarsgård, or the dad, or the other brother.
The Alexander, the good-looking one.
Alexander's the tall hottie, the big Viking-looking guy.
Yeah, I want to look like him. So I'm going to look like him. I'm going to develop a talent for basketball. I'm going to get rid of my asthma. You know, mild cat allergies got to go. You know, yeah.
I get it if you're trying to gene edit for, like, in your case, you're born with asthma, right? Or you developed?
No, I developed it when I was 12.
Oh, wow. So I get when they try to fix something like that with the technology of CRISPR, but when we're trying to fix triglycerides and LDL cholesterol, like, we know the fix and we've known it for 30 years and people just don't. I mean, the incidence rate is rising, like, in East Asia, but it typically is not a problem in East Asia. Like, this is not a thing in East Asia. People don't have cholesterol problems. Maybe more nowadays because everything is...
Well, their diet, yeah, it's changing. It's just like France.
It's changing.
Man. France is chubbing up.
Yeah, everybody's chubbing up. Let me tell you, almost 20 years ago in Dubai, there's some portly Arabs wearing, little Arab boys running around those white dish dashes just with big bellies. And I'm like, and I see them at the mall and they're all buying KFC and Taco Bell, which is all Yum brands. So I'm like, oh, and my crass joke was always, well, W, you're getting your way. You're killing them all one by one. You imported Taco Bell and KFC and McDonald's. So you don't have to drop a bomb. You just export KFC and Taco Bell and McDonald's. That's all you got to do. Give it 10 years. Give it 10 years. You'll kill the entire population. And here we are. So I don't know. But now there's CRISPR. Yay. But you might grow another head, Ted, 15 years from now.
But then you edit that out. All right. Let's do your last one. This
last one, Ted, I have mixed feelings about this one. Ted is ready to lose his shit on this one.
Yeah, it makes me want to die. Lord,
yeah, Ted,
take me now. I am ready to receive you. Only say the word and I shall be healed. Oh, that's my Catholic upbringing coming back. Yes. I am ready. Come take me.
This one, this morning, I shared it with Ted, and Ted was just like, pissed okay, freaking kill me now.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So digital avatars are all the rage these days, from AI models, not like a model of a plane. We're talking about like models, like ooh la la models, to digital influencers and even AI actors. We've talked about Lily Norwood on the show before. But now, I think the name, Ted, I don't know how to pronounce this exactly, but I think it's Xania Monet.
Correct.
Xania. Xania.
Xania. Not to be confused like with Zinnia. That's just a flower.
Or Xanax, the pill.
Right. That's different.
Xania Monet is the first AI artiste to really give us humans a challenge in the music scene. On November 1st, the AI singer hit number 30 on the adult R&B airplay chart, securing a $3 million record deal. And once again, sparking controversy around the rise of AI. Whispered into existence by Mississippi-based poet and songwriter Talisha Nikki Jones, Zania Monet brings her creator's lyrics to life to the beats of R&B with the help of Suno, a popular AI music generating platform. Jones considers Zania an extension of herself, adding that Zania helps her bring her lyrics and poems inspired by life experiences into the world. Quote, "We used AI as a tool, which is what it was created for. We used it to enhance our artistry." Ramel Murphy, Zania, remember, is the AI, Zania's music manager, told CNN. "We created real R&B music that was rooted in truth, real lyrics, and real life experiences and life lessons. AI helped us bring the message to life and deliver it to the world. But the artistry and the message behind it is all human." The song "How Was I Supposed to Know?"
Well, the artistry
initially,
is not all human.
it's just, I don't, "How Was I Supposed to Know" is the name of the song, went viral on TikTok before gradually spreading to other platforms and entering the Billboard R&B charts.
Disgusting.
This is only Zania's latest hit. She has been keeping very busy in the 4 months since she made her musical debut. She has released 44 songs on Spotify and has gained around 1.2 million followers on that music service. So there's 1.2 million people that follow Zania on Spotify, as well as about 800,000 others on other social media platforms. Zania Monet's meteoric rise attracted the attention of record company Hallwood Media, whose executives signed her and the human artist behind the AI avatar to a $3 million deal. Quote, "I'm just taking what I love and mixing it with tech," Miss Jones said. "I feel like AI, it's the new era we're in, and I look at it as a tool, as an instrument, and I utilize it." Huh.
Well, I mean, look, I want to be fair here. First of all, artists use tech all the time. I do. I mean, I use
Sure.
right now. I'm using. Well, this isn't art. This is a broadcast. But I'm a columnist and I'm a writer and I'm a cartoonist, right? I mean, I use a word processor. I use a Microsoft Word. I use to produce my writing, and that helps me check my spelling. I run my columns through Grok to see if there's any grammatical errors. Not to create any content, but just to.
You treat Grok as your editor.
Exactly.
Basically.
It's like I literally say, please check spelling and grammar. It's great. It catches like, I like complicated sentences. I often have subject verb disagreements. It catches things like that. That's, it's serving as a safety net. As a cartoonist, I go further than that. I still draw old school on, paper and ink, right? This is just like it was 15, 16. But that said, I scan that sucker into a digital scanner, and then I add the color and I correct mistakes using Photoshop. If my the words in the balloon are a little bit off center, I can scooch them and make them center. If I misspelled a word, I can fix it in Photoshop. So I add the color in Photoshop, and of course I disseminate everything using the internet instead of like, the mails or horse and buggy or whatever they did back in the
But
day.
that's
And
like saying you're a guitarist and you use an amp.
exactly. And, and there was a great controversy when Dylan first performed, using an electric guitar. And so I get that. And like, it's inevitable that this is going to happen. I mean, if tech exists, artists are going to use it. No question about it. What I find repugnant here is not the fact that a bullshit AI project is making $3 million. The project, what I find heinous is that really talented, great, real musicians who are flesh and blood
Humans
cannot get $3 million. That's the
Yes.
fucking problem. This is happening because it's new and shiny. And that's why, and we love new and shiny. And that's the problem. It's sort of like the career arc of many people is like when you're emerging as a musician in your 20s, everyone's like, oh, they're new and she's new and shiny, she's great. And then like after she's been performing for 40 years, everyone forgets all about her until she dies. And then it's like, oh God, Connie Francis was great. Put on that Best of Connie Francis CD. And it's like, oh, she's so great. That's human beings love new and shiny, and we don't recognize what we've lost until it's gone.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing about our species and the way our brains are wired. And this is just a reflection of that. And that's the part I really hate, is it reminds me of just how poorly treated people who do real music are. I don't care that musicians use synthesizers or electronic or compute, or some people compose
What's that
all
voice
of their
thing
music
that they use
on a computer.
What's that voice thing that they synthesize their voice?
The something box, right?
I forget what it's called.
Yeah. Autovox.
Auto-tune. That's it. Auto-tune. I think auto-tune is stupid.
I just think it sounds dumb. That's my main problem with it. Like, I mean, whereas I think certain synthesizers sound fucking magnificent. Like, listen to the Human League Travelogue CD. Holy shit. Sounds magnificent.
Listen to Devo.
Magnificent.
Magnificent use of like
listen to
weird
Soft
tech.
Cell. Amazing.
Oh my God, yes. And just 80s was full of tweaking. 80s music was like full of tweaking around with
go back to Kraftwerk or New or Cluster or any of those like early 70s German early electronic bands. Fantastic. Right.
But that's still the human, like,
or the early 80s French cold wave, like Cass Product. Amazing.
See, that's a tool. I don't view like, okay, Nerd agrees with you here. Nerd says, thank you for the donation, Nerd. Nerd says, I'm with Ted 100%. There's no such thing as an AI artist. It's an oxymoron because the AI is doing the work for you, right? I mean, isn't that like if you tell AI to write, you describe for it what you want it to write you. It can write you a book. It can write you a book report. It can write you.
Well, Manila, you and I, every morning.
We use it every day.
We use AI for the thumbnail, to create the thumbnail for this show.
I use it sometimes to paraphrase
literally,
a story.
I will literally, the command will be something like, create an image of Donald Trump dressed up as a knight heading into battle. And like literally 4 seconds later, it's on my computer. Now, there it is. Did I do anything? No. I wrote a prompt. You
told it what you gave it an order, like you do when you roll up to the McDonald's drive-through.
Exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, yeah, if I go to a restaurant and I order like mac and cheese, I have nothing to do with the creation of that mac and cheese. I just asked for it to show up. I didn't, but it's like it's creation. It's
not
that's the chef, right?
You're like, I want a Caesar salad, right? But I want anchovies chopped up, tossed on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I would like my dressing on the side, and I would like my Parmesan on the side. Server, bring that to me.
Yeah, that's a prompt. That's not creativity.
So they bring it to me, right?
You might have a creative order. You might say, hey, I want a Caesar salad.
All the Starbucks people.
But I want no Caesar dressing. I want ranch dressing, and I want a giant slab of cheddar cheese melted on top of it. Okay, that's a creative order, but it's a prompt. It's still a prompt.
You still didn't create the cheese.
Yeah, you don't get to take any responsibility for it at all.
No, like you didn't like churn the butter. Like you didn't do.
Well, churning the butter doesn't necessarily mean that you have any creativity involved. I mean,
no. If it's part of an order, if it's part of the food that you're creating, right?
But to
you're
me,
like the food artist.
If you're in terms of creating the food, like what goes into creating, like the creativity.
But you're not the chef.
There's making it and there's creating it, and those are two.
The person is not the chef. The person sitting at the
Like at
restaurant,
McDonald's,
the customer is not the chef.
Okay, so what's the creative process to make a quarter pounder? Well, that happens in a lab, right, at McDonald's headquarters. And then like
The chicken
and
nugget. It's orange,
yeah,
pink slime.
that's where the creativity happens. The people who make it are
Pink
not creative.
slime.
They're just following instructions, right?
Right.
They
So
receive the
this
patties
chick,
and they assemble it.
this chick got the AI owner or whatever, Ms. Jones got $3 million for coming up with this fake ass brandy, and everyone that's my age group, you know what I'm talking about, like Moesha looking, like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here. Like, she's like this amalgamation of like Ashanti and Brandy and Monica all rolled into one to make her face.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I saw when I looked at this AI artist. It was like this amalgamation of 3 very major Black pop stars from the 90s rolled into one AI face, and the sound is kind of all of them too. And look, AI, it is a large language model. It's learned from. So you want it to make R&B music, it's learned from millions and millions of other R&B music.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
which, of course, obviously, again, I want to be fair. Look, you can argue that like real musicians obviously learn the entire note structure from Western music class. They learn their genre from they're inspired by previous musicians. If Chuck Berry hadn't existed, there would have never been any Beatles. And the Beatles acknowledged that implicitly by covering Chuck Berry songs at the beginning of their career. And the riffs are the same. And, music is an incestuous art form.
they sample each other.
Well, that's even more direct, right? Literally cutting and pasting other people's notes into your song. But I mean, even just like, I read Charles Schulz, and then I was influenced by that, and it's had an influence on my work. I could tell you exactly what the influences are, and so that's kind of like, what is that? That's learning from lots of stuff, and that's what a large language model does. I think what large language models miss, though, and maybe this will happen in the future, but we don't see it in Grok or ChatGPT. We don't see creativity. It can mix things and it can synthesize things, but most creativity in the human space that's remarkable is the synthesis. It does involve a lot of synthesizing multiple sources, but it's also adding something that comes specifically from you. There's this sort of magical muse thing that happens.
Yeah.
And it's it's hard to explain.
It's specific to music. It's very specific.
Well, not just music. I think it's true about any art. But
I think, for me, I've never been moved to tears or anything from an actor, I guess, but I have been moved to tears with music. With music. So for me, when I hear, and I feel like that's not going to be possible
to it. I mean, there's something.
It's not going to be possible with AI.
Like,
and
for example,
Ray in the Rumble Room.
Gordon Gano is the lead singer of the Violent Femmes. I don't think they're weird. They're not going to be able.
No.
Nothing else would have ever sounded like that if not for them, because they were weird.
You're never gonna.
It's rock.
You can't make totally up a Mark Mothersbaugh. You're not gonna make Mark Mothersbaugh AI
because it's
from
uniquely
Mark
weird.
Mothersbaugh from Devo. You're not.
Other things are less unique, of course.
AI is not going to invent the red potted cone hats.
Right. Or the whole idea, the whole theory of de-evolution that Devo came up with, which is a whole philosophy beyond just let's have some cute songs.
AI will copy Mark Mothersbaugh.
Right.
And he's still an artist now, by the way. He has a whole website.
Oh, he does a lot of soundtracks.
Oh, he's fucking amazing. But no, I mean, a physical artist, he draws and paints and sculpts, and he's like all kinds of
Yeah.
like tangible art.
No
And to
question.
Ray's point, Ray in the Rumble Room says, well, she will never rock a stage. Live shows are better with real humans playing.
Well, there's no
100%.
doubt about that.
100%. There is nothing you will never like. Look, they tried to bring hologram Tupac to Coachella one year. And while it was cool because holograms were new, like 15 years ago or something, people were like, oh, Tupac. And it was, everyone's losing their mind because it was the technology, not because they fucking believed Tupac was on stage. It was just they were seeing this crazy holographic imagery walking across the stage, and it's fucking Tupac Shakur, right? And you're like, oh my God, it's Tupac. And like, he's like rocking California Love at, Coachella. And I think people were amped up because one, they like the song. And two, I mean, obviously Coachella's in California. They like the song. Two, it's new technology. You do that now, it's kind of like, okay, you brought back a holographic Michael Jackson. Cool.
Right.
Okay, very blasé at this point. So the novelty, I don't know, Ted, it's really shitty. I agree with you 100%. Maybe because I'm not an artist that I'm not as offended by it, because I could see the offense, like you're offended.
I'm offended. Okay, it's
this lady got $3 million.
Look, it's a grift. Good for her, right? I get it. But like, who doesn't want a grift? We all want a grift. Whenever we hear about a grift, we're jealous, and that's what this is about for me. This is about jealousy, not because I'm a musician. I'm not, but I'm jealous because of like surely this is wrong. Right? I mean, surely it
feels unethical, doesn't it?
Surely it's wrong that like she's making $3 million while other people, I mean, I'm sorry, like even if you're a shitty like wedding covers band, you deserve more money for doing your shitty covers of like Zeppelin or whatever in South Jersey than you do, fucking do an AI, because that's
and
a
this
prompt.
chick giving prompts,
it's literally the lowest.
It's
below. It's beneath hack work. It's not even hack work. It's like there's zero skill involved. You prompted it. It's like, so fuck you.
Well, so then,
but on the other hand, again, it's like the problem here is it's sort of like when you hear people get mad about like, oh, like this person chases a ball for a living like a dog and they're a professional athlete. They make tens of millions of dollars. And it's like and I always say the problem isn't that like some dude made $10 million. The problem is that like, a pipe fitter doesn't make $10 million. That's the fucking problem,
Well, this is all new territory, obviously, but Ted, I wonder now that can you copyright that AI? Can I make my own?
Manila, that's a hugely important question, and it hasn't really been resolved.
Can I copy her?
But like,
can I make my own Manila version of this fake Brandy Ashanti? Like, can I make my own?
Probably you cannot. I mean, in the same way that like, okay, can I copyright my cartoon even though I used Adobe Photoshop to help create it? Yeah, I can. So I think AI is going to be like what she said is correct. It will be viewed as a tool that helps people create things in the same way that a typewriter is a tool that helps a writer create a manuscript. It's a tool.
This is a whole new area of copyright
it's just that this
and
tool
law
is doing an inordinate amount of the work. That's the difference.
Yeah. So I for me just feel like it's unethical.
I just think it's a reflection of everything that's wrong with our society. Honestly, I would rather live in a society where we said that music is important and musicians are important and that musicians deserve to earn a living and that we should guarantee everybody who does anything that's worthwhile, which music is worthwhile, a living. And I'm not saying they have to live luxuriously, but we are a rich society. We are giving Donald Trump, even as we speak, has just sent $40 billion to Argentina for some reason that I can't fathom. And it's like now, it's like, so we have so much money that we're giving it to foreigners for no reason whatsoever. We have so much money that we're gene editing our fat away. Like we should be able to say, you're a musician. We're not going to judge whether you're a great musician or not, but here's $50,000 so you can survive. I don't think that's a bad thing to do. That's the kind of world I want to live in.
Well, I don't know that I want to give everybody free checks for not doing anything, but I will say that I feel like this is cheating. If I were a musician, I would be up in arms about it for sure. I feel like it's cheating because it's harnessing the power of every song, every R&B song that's ever been put out.
Made. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's inorganic.
It's theft. It's fucking theft. Of course.
I just feel like,
arguably that's
not
been
fair.
the case. Honestly, the role of what's happened in capitalism is that the tools to it has always been more lucrative to make art supplies than to make art, and so all the profits always go to the machine maker. I took a class on feminism at when I was in college, and I remember one of the things that really stuck with me was how housework became easier to do in the early part of the 20th century due to the invention of all these appliances,
gadgets,
right? Like vacuum cleaner, the washing machine, the mechanical dryer, etc. And so what happened is that it was all sold. If you look at magazines from like the 19 teens and 20s, it's like, housewife will be liberated to spend more time at home reading, and she will not have to, to work as hard. And all that happened was that the level of expectation of cleanliness increased to reflect the efficiency. So when there was no vacuum cleaner, everyone's floors were a little bit gritty because the cleanest you could get your house was with a broom and a mop, right? But you could never really get it as clean as you could.
Oh no! Now you have a fucking little robot that's scooting around 24 hours a day.
Well, that does kind of free you up from having to clean your house, right? But the point is that the vacuum machine,
and cat insane.
But the vacuum machine and the vacuum cleaner, for example, was it just basically made it easier. So everybody's house had to be that much cleaner, or it was considered to be dirty. And
or
so women, so who benefited? The men who owns the companies that sold these appliances. And we see that in all means of creative production.
Yeah. Well, this will, if we as a society adopt and fully accept a future where musical artists don't actually exist as humans anymore, and concerts are all fucking Tupac holograms.
Kill us now.
We're fucking done. Like, we're just done. We're done. Ted.
You know what can't substitute for AI? My bladder. I have to go pee, and I can't get a machine to pee for me. So
it's time for us to be done anyway with the show. So, but that's just it. So we've got AI actresses, AI musicians. Ted and I are actually exploring the idea of trying an AI fill-in host. Maybe it'll be since we're missing Robbie, maybe we can create an AI Robbie.
Well, we get Robbie back on Monday, but
no, but we can try playing with an AI conservative. We can make a right-wing Christian conservative and see
see the difference. Never be as charming as Robbie, ever.
So we'll have to see. All right, that does it for us, guys, for this Tuesday. Happy Veterans Day again. Thank you to all those who served. Shout out again to our buddy, well-dressed nerd out there. He's a U.S. Army veteran. Thank you all for your service. And I say that as the wife of a veteran, and not because I love war. It's because it's a job that you chose with the gamble of losing your life at any given time, because this country is hyper-militarized and we don't treat these people very well.
That's true.
That's my last word about the veterans. They gambled with their lives for these jobs, and now they get out, and they're treated like shit. So
Sad
I
but
hope,
true.
sad but true. I hope our veterans, you guys get what you guys are owed. So happy Veterans Day, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you
See you
on
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Bye, Manila.
Adios, amigos. Bye.